Hello, welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews.
I am the god of Hellfire, and I bring you...
And I'm Gary. And today we're going to review and discuss The Toxic Avenger, which came out in 1984, directed by Lloyd Kaufman and Michael Herz. Iain, why don't you give us the synopsis?
Well, the story follows Melvin Ferd III. He's a cleaner at a fitness resort in Tromaville, the toxic waste dumping capital of the world. Melvin is bullied by a bunch of patrons there and throws himself out of a window into a barrel of toxic waste. This mutates him into the Toxic Avenger, and he goes about bringing his own form of justice to many of the evils in the city.
This film had quite a strange origin story of its own.
Yeah.
With it being a superhero movie, the idea for this film spawned on the set of Rocky, the Sylvester Stallone film, where Lloyd Kaufman, he was part of the crew for that film.
Right, okay.
And whilst he was in the gym, he noticed a leaflet or a flyer or a headline which just said, "Horror movies are dead." And he just looked at that and he was just like, no, they're not. And he kind of came up with the idea about a horror movie set in a gym, because obviously working on Rocky and in the gyms. And so the idea for the Toxic Avenger was spawned then. Obviously it'd be many years later before he'd actually get the film developed. But and so it was quite an unlikely origin for the film. But Troma Pictures obviously is now, as 40 years that they've been around for with Lloyd Kaufman. The Toxic Avenger is pretty much the film that really has cemented Troma Pictures in the history books and has kept them going this entire time.
Yeah, well, he's like their icon, isn't he?
Pretty much. He's
like
their mascot, their poster child. Yeah.
And they've done a lot of fucking films.
Troma, yes.
Troma have done a lot of films. Some of them bad, some of them not.
They definitely range in quality. You get films like Romeo and Juliet from 1996. That's one of their other most well-known ones.
Terra Firma, Poltergeist.
Yeah, Poltergeist, Night of the Chicken Dead, Class of Nukem High from 1986. I will admit, I do prefer their late 80s, early 90s Troma films. Some of the later ones, I don't know whether it's the special effects or the budget or the acting or the cameras, I'm not really sure, but they just kind of lost a little bit of something. Yeah,
or they're trying to still hold on to something that has gone and it just doesn't work nowadays.
Well, for me, Troma were always the film company that would push the boundaries as to what was acceptable in cinema. You know, they were the ones pushing against the R rating and the MPAA and, you know, the film companies that would cut content out of films. You know, they were the alternative cinema.
I don't really think that actually establishes them as good, though, because
no, it's alternate. It's different. But it's what you wouldn't get, you know, from a mainstream film.
The first time I ever saw the Toxic Avenger, was in Toxic Crusaders, the cartoon series.
Okay. In
the early 90s. I didn't even know there was a fucking Toxic Avenger film when I watched the cartoon series. It was just a fucking cartoon series. It was up there, I think, around about the same time as I was watching Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, the cartoon series. So at this point, these films had done well, or marginally well, and somebody went, hey, let's make a cartoon series out of these ultra-violent, gory, crazy B-movie type low independent movies from the late or early 80s.
It was so that they could make toys, and it was also so they wanted something to rival the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, but it was the fact that I watched these cartoons and I was like, all right, okay, I'm getting this. And then I'd go to school and I'd talk to the people at school, and the PC was just becoming, you know, the internet was there and people had access to knowledge that we never had before. And so a guy I knew was like, oh my god, I can't believe you're watching that shit. It's based on Toxic Avenger from Troma. Oh my god, these movies are amazing. They're so low budget and gory. Iain, you love The Evil Dead. You're gonna fucking love these movies. And so I was like, oh, okay. But I didn't have access to them. You know, our video stores didn't sell or rent out the Toxic Avenger or any of the Troma movies because they were so unknown, so low down the bracket that they just got forgotten. It wasn't until I got to Bravo, the Sky channel, and I had that And they went through like a series of Troma movies, and I watched them. I watched as many as I could. Was it Sergeant Kabuto or the fucking the guy who turns into the Japanese guy? You know, fucking like I said, I watched all 4 Toxic Avenger movies and Class of Nukem High and it was all fucked up.
Yeah.
And then somebody said, "Hey, you know, can you review the Toxic Avenger movie?" And yeah. I would say the Toxic Avenger symbolizes and shows us everything that Troma is all about. The low budgetness, the awkward, crazy acting, the over the top, weird, gory, gooey special effects. You know, it's everything that you kind of want from an 80s movie. And that's what I mean. I think it's missing because they try to take that same formula and bring it up to date with things like Romeo and Juliet and Terra Firma, and it just doesn't work because you're in a different generation. You need to try something different. But back in '84, Lloyd Kaufman and Michael Herz get together and they start filming Toxic Avenger, and we have Melvin, played by Mark Torgo.
You're quite a central, 80s nerd, isn't he?
Man, he is just bullied and picked on and is a bit of an idiot, and I clean for a living, and wow, is he the worst cleaner ever.
Yeah, well, he's got all of these pretty bodies wandering around next to him.
Well, this is it. I realised right from the opening credits as the camera's moving through the gym that there is a reason, people. There is a reason why we live in a PC generation now. Everyone's going, oh, everything's PC. Watch the fucking opening to Toxic Avenger and tell me we shouldn't be. You got 2 fucking guys there in leather pants. One of them's just got a gay man, a naked man picture on his body. And he's just like, hey. And I'm like, what's that supposed to symbolize?
That this gym takes in people from all walks of life. How about the music? Body talk.
I'm so excited. I just wanna listen to your body talk. Body talk. I love the sound of body talk.
The zoom in on the woman who's doing that arm thing.
Yeah.
You know, hey, let's see if we can make our boobs bigger. You know, no.
I love the large lady with all of the aerobics girls. She's got chocolate bars in her back pocket.
We also have Gary Schneider playing Bozo and Robert Pritchard playing Slug. Now, Bozo and Slug are a pair of fucking drug addict, murderous, psychopathic bullies who come to the gym, and Bozo is just always stressed. He's stressing me out, Gary. He's stressing me out. And I'm like, whoa. I don't remember that guy being that fucking stressed out.
Yeah. It's what when Melvin puts the mop in the jacuzzi.
He's stressing me, Julie. He is stressing me.
Oh, Bozo.
I can't take it, Julie. I cannot take it. He is screwing up my karma.
It's like the film is like... It's like a mismatch of a bunch of scripts that they did edit together and kind of work. Like, I didn't realize... I didn't realize until I was watching the movie at a certain point that it is kind of like a horror movie.
In places, yeah.
In places. And with you saying that that's kind of where the original idea came from.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, did they start filming it and realize that that's not going to work? So they had to change it. And so it started to adapt over time. Because...
Kind of. I mean, I look at this now as it's a superhero origin story.
Oh, yeah. Not the best.
Not the best. I mean, you can see why Marvel Comics ended up buying the rights to make the Toxic Avenger Marvel story comic books.
Yeah.
Because he's like the Thing. He's like the Hulk.
Yeah.
It's a person who got caught in an accident that gave him superhero powers.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing.
We'll get to that.
It's amazing how it's adaptable for children, and yet you look at this first film and oh my fucking god! I mean, like I said, they say Tromaville is the toxic dump capital of the world. I mean, it's just on the outside of New York City. I'm not entirely sure where it's actually.
It's supposed to be in New Jersey. I think.
New Jersey, yeah. And yeah, everybody just throws all their toxic waste there. I mean, the mayor. I gotta bring this motherfucker up now before I forget. The mayor, played by Pat Ryan. Only one other film we've done with him in. Do you remember?
Oh, I know. Street Trash.
Street Trash. And I'm like, I know that fat fuck.
I only know this because the woman who did the special effects for Street Trash, she did the special effects for Toxic Avenger.
Yeah.
So it's the same effects.
And it's weird that Toxic Avenger is actually more coherent than Street Trash.
As a story, yes.
Because, like I said, we follow Melvin, and he's just a kind of an innocent guy doing this job at this place. And
He's trying to clean this gym, but he's not, as you said, he's not very good at it.
He's one guy. There's no way one guy could do all that stuff, especially with all people that... I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of cleaning, that'll take me hours. But the fact that Bozo, Slug, Julie, and Slug's girlfriend absolutely hate him. And they're evil people. These fucking people are evil.
They are twisted.
They drive around at night in their car, and Julie tells Bozo the rules because Bozo wants her to remind
It's kind
him.
of like a reminder for the audience because these guys have been doing this for years or for however long.
Yeah, but dude, this film is 1984. We're watching it in 2019. I don't even know if we can show the dialogue that she goes through because it is pretty much every racist comment that you can call
That's Troma.
any people. The fact that they're talking about how they're just going to murder kids. If you hit a kid on a bike, that's 28 points, but he's got to die.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this turned into a cartoon series? For
kids?
Now, kids under 12, they're worth double points.
Skippy, don't forget your helmet.
Okay, sis.
And be careful out there.
Yeah, it's great because he sees the kid on the bike and they pull up beside him and they're waving. Hi, it's a nice bike.
Yeah, he shouldn't be on the street that late at night.
No, but you can have that wonderful scene where he's with his sister and his sister's just like, be safe, bye.
Yeah, and you know he's not.
No. Yeah, they ride past him, they ride out in front of him, they spin the car around in sped up footage. Yeah. And they ride the car right at him, and you watch him fly over the car and bounce on the other side, and you see the bloody mess crawling across the tarmac.
But Slug's got to go home because
Well, they haven't
he's got to
killed
go
the
church.
kid just yet.
Oh yeah.
The kid's still alive. And so they order them to reverse or to ride back over him and finish him off. And you get one of the best deaths in the entire Toxic Avenger franchise.
Yeah.
His head bursts like a watermelon. I think they used a melon of some kind. They filmed it with corn syrup and fake blood and yeah.
Yeah. But they head back to the gym and they are just so pissed off with Melvin that they decide to set up a trap. Julie convinces Melvin to come to the girls' changing room with her because she's going to have sex with him, and Melvin's so fucking stupid, he thinks it's all true. And she gets him to dress up in a pink tutu.
Yeah.
And lures him into a room and starts making out with him, and they turn on the lights and Melvin is making out with a sheep. Now Melvin is so fucking stupid he didn't realise that he was on his knees making out with something that's got 4 legs. But what boggles my mind even more is that they'd organised everybody in the gym to be in there. So everybody is an eyewitness. And he gets so freaked out. Everybody is so mocking him and laughing at him, and he's just so upset. He runs away from them and they chase him.
Yeah.
To the point where he throws himself out of a 2nd floor window.
Yeah. Now, before we get to his landing, we've had these 2 truck drivers. You know, and they've been driving for all of, I don't know, 20 minutes, I guess, before they're like, oh, we need a break. We need a cocaine break.
Yeah, we got all this cocaine, let's do it.
So let's park in front of this gym, do all this cocaine. You know, they've got all these barrels on the back. When they stop, you see them all slide up to the front. They're not tied down. They haven't even got lids on them.
No, they've just got bubbling green muck in it.
But I'm like, this is Tromaville, you know, the dumping ground for toxic waste. So,
Yeah,
it's kind of the norm I expect.
This is what people do. And Melvin flies out of the window and crashes into one of the barrels and falls back out onto the floor. And he is screaming in pain. Everything is melting. He looks so upset. But this is Troma. And Troma people just stand around mocking him.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's fine. He's fine. He's faking.
The police come over and they're like, what's going on here? What are you doing here? And one of them, he tries to pick him up and his hand's set on fire.
Just burst into flames. I've always loved that shot of him. It's a shot that I see a lot of times. I think it's used a lot when you're talking about Troma, is the flaming guy walking down, running down the street. You know, Melvin's on fire and he's on fire now, and you've got that big piece of classical music playing in the background.
Yeah.
When I hear that music, it either reminds me of Earthworm Jim,
right,
or Toxic
Toxic
Avenger.
Avenger.
I don't know what it's called. I just know what it's used in.
Yeah, it's great. And so you know, after being on fire, he runs all the way home, runs into his house, and jumps into the bathtub.
Yeah.
And you know, like, that's going to help. Yeah, it's just another disgusting sequence where we just watch his arm expanding and boiling and bursting. You get to see, you know, the bathtub just starts filling up with this horrible toxic goo. You know, you see his face contorting and his head is
hair
bubbling
pulling out.
And that's a great transformation.
Yeah.
You know, but then it does have the kind of cheesy effect where it kind of fades as you swap out one actor in the suit to the next actor who's going to be, you know, the muscular one. Who's going to be playing the Avenger.
But it also kind of messes with you because you're kind of feeling like, oh, Melvin is mutating. This is going to be overly dramatic. It's going to be it's going to be good. And yet you've got his mum outside the bathroom going, oh, my little boy's reached puberty.
My little Melvin. He must have finally reached puberty.
Oh, and I'm like, if that's fucking puberty, fucking hell. We have Mitch Cohen playing Toxie and Kenneth Kessler doing Toxie's voice.
That will catch anyone off guard watching this film for the first time. When you see Toxic Avenger, beats up a bunch of thugs, and then he opens his mouth, but you don't see it because the film refuses to show you Toxic Avenger's face until like beyond halfway through the film. And so you hear his voice.
Don't worry, I won't hurt you. I don't know what came over me. I just couldn't control myself. I've never done anything like this before.
And he just sounds so deep-voiced and quite an intellectual man compared to what we've just heard from Melvin that you're like, that doesn't work.
Oh, it does.
Oh, yeah, I suppose it does. But I love how they just kind of get Mitch Cohen, who's playing Toxie, to just run around in the Toxic Avenger outfit and just film him with background. You know, it's like, I love that shot where the camera's really far away and he's at the end of the street and he kind of runs in front of the sunset and then just turns at the camera. You know, I shit you not, if I'm right, that is in every Toxic Avenger movie.
Yeah. Yeah, they the sequels will, they, you know, have a flashback to the events in the previous films, and they'll keep using that shot. Yeah.
But it's just every now and again, like I was freaked out because there's a shot of the movie where Toxie is wearing sunglasses and a coat, but he's ripping it off. Like, we've come halfway into a scene of him ripping his clothes off, and he's angry at us.
It's like he was going incognito. And then all of a sudden it was like, you know, Superman revealing his shirt.
Yeah, but we kind of imagine coming in halfway through and Superman's already opened halfway, like he's already half changing. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to see?
He's struggling with his suit jacket, like Toxie.
Well, 5 minutes.
I just don't understand why he's wearing sunglasses. You know, his eye is down.
It's Troma, mate.
Yeah.
We start to see some of the crime, I suppose, that is happening in Troma. I mean, Troma...
Other than the murderous teenagers.
Oh yeah, but other than the murderous teenagers and the completely corrupt mayor who sits and gets massages at the gym with a massive, huge sandwich. I mean, I suppose they wanted to try to make Troma as bad as Gotham.
Right, yeah.
But no. Because, I mean, we've got Cigar Face.
I don't know. It's kind of as bad as Detroit from RoboCop.
Hey, don't diss Detroit. Detroit's got Clarence Boddicker. We got Cigar Face. Do you know why they call him Cigar Face?
Is it metaphorical?
No, he sticks a cigar in your face. I don't understand what the guy is dressed up as the woman. I mean, is he supposed to be a transvestite or...
I guess, yeah.
Is it an outfit?
Cross-dresser.
Yeah. And then you got the dumbass one who smashes a baseball bat over his head because he's got a hard head.
Yeah.
But it's a great sequence because they are trying to convince a police officer to take a bribe so that they can carry on doing the nefarious deeds that they've been doing around the town. And the cop seems to be the only good cop on the beat. He's like Troma's Gordon, I suppose.
Yeah.
And they start to beat the fuck out of him, kicking him in the balls, punching him in the face, sticking a cigar in his face. And it's like the transvestite says... The boss says if he doesn't join us that we're supposed to make love to him. And so they go, okay, we will. And I'm like, what? What?
The boss says if he doesn't want to cooperate, we should make love to him.
Well, whatever the boss says goes.
But while they're all doing that, Toxie turns up, and in his rage, because he's got this now, I don't know, toxic ability to
detect crime.
And,
yeah.
You know, he has to fucking take them out. Brings him over to rage. He fucks those guys up. I particularly like the one where he gets cigar faced and turns him upside down in the bucket and just keeps punching him in the fucking balls.
He obviously punches the other guy's nose off.
Yeah, he fucking whacks him in the nose. And the transvestite, he rips the wig off the transvestite, but for some reason that turns him into Bruce Lee.
Yeah. Well, he rips the hair off both of them at the same time, even though the other guy's hair is still there afterwards. It was like, what? Okay. And yeah, and he just beats the crap out of all of them.
Yeah.
Except Cigar Face, he gets away.
Yeah, Cigar Face gets away, and I love the fact where he's got the squeaky voice, like, I'm gonna get you! I'm like, ooh. But it's there you start to realise that Toxie is, you know, he's wanting to help people. He wants to help the people of Tromaville, and the cop is the first guy. He's trying to tell the press and his police chief, who I believe is a Nazi.
Yeah!
Right, yeah.
He's trying to tell the press and his police chief about how the Toxic Avenger saved him and only hurt the bad guys. But everybody else is like, no, this thing needs to be killed. It needs to be destroyed. And so Toxie goes to go home to his mum, and she gets completely freaked out by him. And so he wanders off to the local toxic dump and basically makes himself a home there. It's kind of a sad little sequence where he just kind of lies down and goes to sleep. And I'm
shunned by society because of the way he looks.
Yeah, but it's kind of weird because he was shunned already.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of nice for that. And then you get to the taco robbery. 3 guys burst into a taco store. Stop me if you've heard this joke. 3 guys burst into a taco store to rob everybody. And you've got one guy on a shotgun, another guy with a massive hand cannon, and the last guy's got a knife. And this is in broad fucking daylight, right? There are loads of patrons there, and even the chef is drunk. There's no cops turning up, and everybody is at their mercy. And oh my god, I mean, I thought Hobo with a Shotgun was a bit crazy. When that guy gets that shotgun in that kid's face and the kid is screaming, I'm like, fuck me, that kid must be traumatized.
Well, apparently the actor quit after that sequence. He was like, fuck this, I ain't doing this anymore.
What, the kid?
No. The guy who had to put the gun in the kid's face was just like, no, this is not worth being in the film for.
Oh, wow.
But that happens a lot on Troma films where actors are just like, you want me to do what now?
Yeah, you're right. What?
Exactly. It's like, I'm out of here.
Because because they go around and they're starting to, you know, they start to get violent to the patrons, and they come across Sarah, played by Andree Maranda, who is a blind girl, quite an attractive blind girl. And I remember her from the animated series. She was Toxie's girlfriend in the series. I think she can actually see in the cartoon series. I'm not entirely sure.
I think in the last film she gets given her eyes back, or they have an operation so she can see.
Oh right, well
So-
that would explain it.
Yeah.
But in this one, obviously, she's blind, and the robbers kill her dog, which I thought was a bit fucking harsh,
That was.
because he slides across the.
That was, you know, it's harsh when you see the dog die, but because the dog gets shot and slides across the floor, you're like, I'm laughing.
I like as well.
You don't laugh at animal death in film.
I like as well the fact she's like, they've killed my dog, and you look over and the dog's lying on the floor, breathing.
Yeah.
With just gore next to him. And I'm like, your dog's still alive. Right, let's stop. And the guy on the knife decides that he's going to rape Sarah in front of
everyone.
in front of everybody, because he's always wanted to do a blind bitch.
Wanted a cornhole blind bitch.
Yeah.
Hey, Leroy, you know, I always did want to cornhole me a blind bitch. Ow!
But luckily Toxie turns up. Nobody ever sees him. He just seems to appear. He's really stealthy. I like the way how he kind of calmly walks down the streets in certain shots. But he walks in and he fucks everybody up. I mean, he rips off the fucking guy's
Frank's,
arm,
yeah.
with the knife.
The actor playing Frank, he does only have one arm, so that's how they were
really?
able. If you saw in the previous shot his other arm, he wasn't doing anything with it because it was just a prosthetic. So
wow.
yeah,
That's brilliant.
he rips off his arm, beats him around, and then throws him in the oven.
Oh yeah, cooks him like a pizza,
Yes.
and then takes the shotgun guy, or after having a bit of a fight between the shotgun guy and the handgun guy, who are pretty good at martial arts. He fucking grabs the shotgun guy, sticks milk in his mouth, ice cream on his face, whipped cream, a cherry on top, and then stuffs his mouth onto a milkshake mixer and draws it through. I mean, and you say it's one of the best. That kid was one of the best. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But then the handgun guy.
He grabs some nunchucks.
Yeah, he's got fucking nunchucks. He's gonna whoop ass. But you know he's not gonna beat Toxie. I mean,
No.
he's fucking super strong. He's fucking crazy.
Doesn't Toxie gouge out both his eyes?
No, that was the transvestite.
That was the transvestite,
That was
yeah.
the transvestite. I like that shot as well. That was the transvestite. He gets the handgun guy and he fixes his hands into one of those hot fryer mixers.
That's it. Yeah.
And then just shoves it into the fryer and cooks his hands and drops a couple of funny one-liners.
For me, all of this pays off when the police come into the restaurant and they're all like, "Oh, we're in a Mexican restaurant. Let's all make some burritos.
Yeah, what is the day in seconds? What you got? Well, I got them.
Look at this guy's fingers."
Looks like we've got a nice crispy taco supreme over here, Chief.
Looks like I got a strawberry thick shake over here.
I was like, how can you eat any of that food? You're in a fucking crime scene. This whole place should be dusted. But it's Troma. Toxie picks up Sarah at this point because he realizes that her dog's dead and takes her back to her apartment. And I mean, did they intentionally make her clumsy?
No, it was just kind of being. It's blind jokes. It's like she's blind, so she falls over and trips over her own place.
That's it, because I was
know?
like, this girl looks at least 20, 25. You know, you're telling me that she hasn't gotten used to her blindness?
It's funny. And the fact that it is offensive.
Yeah,
you know, but
yeah.
it's when she turns around and goes, "Let me grab my cane," and you know, she's got a wall rack of canes, and then just whacks them in the nuts after she knocks them all down, and yeah. It's funny, not funny.
Yeah, because from this point, I mean, Toxie and Sarah start to establish a relationship. I mean, you know,
She wants to feel his face
yeah,
because she can't see him.
yeah, but she realizes. I mean, she realizes he's mutated, but then she realizes he's got an enormous penis as well because she accidentally feels it instead of his hand, and then we get a sex sequence. Now the film had a couple of sex sequence earlier in the film, and They go on for a bit while. They go on for a while.
I was a little bit disturbed
Yeah.
at Toxie having sex because earlier in the film we saw him urinating green toxic waste.
With the fucking pedophile.
And so I'm like, is he just going to give her a shot of toxic waste? Ow!
Oh, well, I mean, you know.
But no, because, you know, in the later films, well, Lloyd Kaufman for the last however many years has been trying to make Toxic Avenger 5,
Yeah.
where Toxie has twin children.
No.
No, they've already filmed the trailer for it.
Well,
But they haven't actually filmed the film. But
I was going to say, the trailer is
they're
the film.
filming a trailer for a film that doesn't exist yet.
No. Because that will make the Son of the Mask look good. Yeah.
Look out, evildoers. These aren't the Olsen twins.
That's right.
But going back to the film, sorry, Toxie gets Sarah to move in with him, and they make up their own little place. And so you feel good. Now Toxie is, you know, actually got a girlfriend. He's happy. But he's still got this murderous, rampageal rage to go out and just defeat evil in the town of Troma. And so he heads to the gym and he kills a drug dealer there. Drops a fucking weight on his head.
That is one of my other favourite kills from the franchise.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But he also he kills a pedophile and the pedophile's gang because the pedophile was trying to sell him a 12-year-old for $12. You know, that fight sequence isn't great.
No, well, I just laughed at all the people climbing out of the limousine.
Yeah,
one after another.
I thought it was even crazier that Toxie walks back over to the limousine with the 12-year-old, gets in and drives away.
Yeah, he's going to take her home.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I hoped. You know, but everybody else has been running in fear from him.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But I love the fact that he gets surrounded by gang members at one point and they're all armed and he just super jumps out of the way. And they all just blast themselves.
So yeah, you know, it's, you know, you kind of forget at this point that, you know, his main villains were those that bullied him at the beginning. But even they are not the real villains of the film. It turns out that it is the mayor.
Yeah.
But before we get to the mayor, you know, he goes back to the gym and he finds the brunette woman.
Yeah.
You know, she's in the sauna room.
Yeah.
And she's, you know, burning the hot rocks. And he grabs her and sits her on top of those.
Yeah, and I think is that the real first time we get a proper look at his face?
Yes, because we have the sequence before where she's in there and her boyfriend comes walking in pretending to be deformed and being a monster.
Yeah.
And he just makes an Elephant Man joke.
Yeah.
Bullshit. I am not an animal. I am Melvin, I'm my boy.
And so there's kind of like a fake scare. And so, yeah, then when Toxie does come after her and reveals, that's the first time you actually see his face.
And it was
in the film.
It was those 2 points entirely that I did think, wow, that's very horror movie-ish.
Yes,
you know, the fake scare. You've got the boyfriend coming in to have sex with a girl, and then the killer comes in.
Yeah.
And so with you saying, it was going to be a horror movie, I see how it could have been, but with the jokes, the stupidness, you know, some of the one-liners and just the goofiness that are in certain places, it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have worked horror.
For me, this is it's a superhero origin story, and it is in a way a reverse slasher film where the one that's murdering everyone is the good guy, and he's murdering them all in horror movie slasher fashion, but they're criminals.
Yeah.
So it's kind of justified. So it's
Yeah, not really like the Crow or anything, is it?
No. But he also chases after the blonde lady, the one that had seduced him.
Oh yeah, Julie.
In the beginning.
Yeah.
And even more horror related, you know, where she goes running around into the basement of the gym where there's poor lighting, everything's rusted away, there's rats.
Yeah.
And he chases her into a corner, and then he pulls out a pair of scissors and it cuts away.
Yeah, you don't know what the fuck he does. I mean, we see him sit a girl on some rocks, and you're like, right, well, she's her. You know, we see him deal with Bozo and Slug in a minute. They're fucking dead.
Oh yeah.
Julie, no. I don't know if he stabbed her to death, which technically would constitute murder.
Yeah.
You know, because she was in fear. She was kind of giving up. You know, or he cut her hair.
Yeah, he cut all her hair off. There is a deleted scene where the two girls from the gym are in the police station fighting each other, and one's got lots of bandages around her behind, and
Right.
she's got all her hair cut away.
Right.
But it was a deleted scene, so it's not actually in the film. So
yeah.
their resolution is kind of left open.
Pointless.
But yeah, but Toxie doesn't hold back when he goes after the other two.
No. He saves two kids from Bozo and Slug who are about to run them over for points, and then leaps on the roof of the car. And so you get this...
You can see the handles.
Yeah!
The stuntman grabs hold of.
I was about to say, you get this kind of action-y chase sequence, but if you look carefully, you can see all the safety precautions that they put in. But he throws Slug out of the car.
Yeah.
Or he punches him fucking repeatedly in the face and throws him out of the car. So, just like with Julie, you assume he's dead. And then he slides into the car and purposely gets Bozo to drive as fast as he can down the road, veering out of the way of traffic, to the point that they almost run down a bunch of kids and parents in a park.
Yeah.
And then the car goes flying over this cliff, smashes into the ground, bursts into flames.
Yeah.
And 2 seconds later, the flames are out. Bozo is dead, but he's looking okay.
It's just burned.
Yeah, kind of Rafe style.
Yeah.
You know? And Toxie kind of just gets out and walks it off.
I was like, no firefighters turned
Nope,
up,
nope.
no people turned up,
Nope.
nobody reported it.
I mean, that fire, the car burst into flames and then went out in 10 minutes?
Or less.
Or less. But on his way back to his girlfriend, there's a little old lady who's gone to a dry cleaner's, and Toxie has gone in there and murdered her. And so news gets out that...
He didn't just murder her.
No, he washed and steamed her.
Exactly.
I mean, you want to pace this film out. Well, the film's like an hour and 22 minutes. You want to pace the film out. You got to make the death sequences really long. Because that's what we're here for. But the information gets out that he's killed this lady. And the mayor is hoping to use the fact that she's an innocent old lady to destroy Toxie and get the army behind him. But it is later revealed as well that the little old lady was actually the head of a white slavery ring.
Yeah, and she had, a list, a police record a mile long.
Yeah.
And we also have this scientist who is talking to all the officers, who just explains that due to the radiation poisoning and the sickness and the mutation, that he can detect crime.
Yeah.
So he just knows whether you've been good or bad.
Yeah.
Just inherently. And so he would never hurt an innocent, so...
So she must have been evil. But the mayor obviously realizes this and realizes the game is completely up. He's going to get caught. All of his corruption is going to be shown. So he calls in the National Guard to come and help defeat Toxie.
At this point, Toxie and Sarah have decided to get out of the city for a little bit.
Yeah, and go camping.
Yeah.
And I fucking died with laughter when you get those cops that are searching for him, and you've got those two guys, and one of them's like, "Man, I don't want to be here today. This is fucking shit. I'm out here chasing monsters. I don't want to be here." And the other guy's got binoculars, and he's just like, "Hey, I found the monster." "Yeah, right, whatever." "He's with a blonde girl." "Yeah, right, whatever." "She's in a bikini." What?
Give me those.
And you just watch Toxie and Sarah get into the fucking the tent, and I'm looking at Sarah, and I'm like, wow, wow.
Yeah, she's pretty.
Yeah, she's pretty. I mean, there was a lot of pretty girls in this.
Yes.
I mean, one of the greatest things to come out of the 80s was the leotard, I think. But sorry, I got sidetracked then.
So the National Guard, with their tanks and their military and their guns, all make it out to Toxie's home, his little tent.
Yeah. Oh, they're surrounded, don't they?
They completely surround it. I'm like, they got there, they must have stealthed all the way up there because those inside did not hear them at all.
No.
But the townspeople as well have kind of rallied behind Toxie's cause. They're printing T-shirts saying the hero monster.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't call him Toxie because they didn't actually know what they were going to call him at this point.
Yeah.
And so they're wearing T-shirts. You've got the good guy police officer there who's reminding everyone that he's the good guy.
Yeah.
And then Toxie comes out of his tent, ready to face them down.
Yeah.
And the mayor is trying to order everyone to kill him, But the cop's just like, no, you can't do it. If you go in here, you're going to have to shoot me first.
Yeah.
And then other people come out of the crowd.
His mum comes back, which
His
I
mum
think is
comes
really,
out.
really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
she accepts him. Everybody else kind of stands in front, and the mayor is just adamant that he's got to fucking die, and nobody wants to do it. Up until the point that Toxie gets everybody to go away, and then starts walking towards the mayor, and the mayor fires at him, but he's impervious to bullets.
That or the mayor's a terrible shot.
Yeah. And then Toxie just walks up to him and says, what? You're like, let's see if you've got any guts. And just rips his guts out in front of everybody.
Just one stomach punch and yeah. You see him trying to put it back in?
Yeah. And then he's lying on the floor dead, and Toxie still asks the police officer to book him.
Yeah.
Officer O'Clancy, take care of this toxic waste.
And so the film ends on a high. The evil corruption of Tromaville has been kind of subdued at this point because they now have this superhero who's going to stay with them and fight the cause. And so we get all the montage sequence at the end of all the loose shots that they filmed of Toxie. And he's just there roaring at like the World Trade Center and ripping off his coat and looking at the camera dramatically. It's stupid.
It's because the narrator just kind of says that if you're in a back alley somewhere and you're being mugged or beaten or attacked, look out because Toxie might be there to save you.
Yeah, he's not.
Well, maybe in the sequels. Because they Toxic Avenger 2 came out quite a few years later. It was 1989 the second one came out. And then 1989 also saw the Last Temptation of Toxie come out. And that was because Toxic Avenger 2 and 3 was shot back to back. It was actually shot as one film.
Yeah.
And then obviously the running time was like 3 hours or so they cut the film into two.
Yeah.
And then it'd be many years later before we would get Toxic Avenger 4, Citizen Toxie, in 2000. And that's, I'm not a big fan of the second and third film. The fourth film is kind of fun for the fact that its body count just surpasses the other three films within of itself.
Yeah. But is that enough to keep you wanting to watch the film if you're just there for the body count?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I mean, like I said, I watched all four of them, and by the time, like, I was excited. Like, I got the four movies together, and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking watch this. And I got through the first one, I'm like, oh man, that was fun. And then I got into the second one, I'm like, that was fun. And I got into the third one, I was like, And then the fourth one, I was like, and
too much maybe in one go.
That was it. And the fact that Troma has this kind of recipe that they have in their films, that it's like when I had the chance of watching things like Class of Nukem High, and Terra Firma, I just realized that they were just reusing the same kind of material that had worked in the Toxic Avenger, and had established the Toxic Avenger and had established Troma, that they were just using the same kind of.
I still think that they are very inventive with their kills and their comedy that comes from it.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's worth sitting through an hour and a half just for those little snippets, Like you said, you probably watched the first and fourth one.
Yeah.
That would be it, right? That would probably be okay. If you watch two of the movies, fine. You're not being oversaturated by that same.
I mean, I have seen all four films, but 2 and 3 are just kind of they're just very weak in comparison, I think, to the other two.
Yeah.
But still, there's still many memorable moments from the first film. After they've run the kid over and they're looking to go and get another kill, and he's just like, no, I got to go home.
Yeah.
I got to go to church in the morning. What? Why?
Yeah, because people are law-abiding citizens.
I love the fact that the intro of the movie, the Toxic Avenger, title coming in, is it's in the gym and the camera's going around all these different people. That's your intro with that music playing.
Yeah.
Yet later in the film, when Toxie comes to the gym, it's everybody from the intro are all in the exact same spots that they were for that intro.
Yes, mate. Yes.
Just like, what?
Yeah.
That's a great little bit. I love the Mexican restaurant massacre
Yeah.
where everyone is just getting obliterated by Toxie. It's just great.
Yeah.
You know, from the dog being shot to the guy having his hands put in the fryer to the guy having his arm ripped off and put in the oven.
Yeah.
You know, Toxie just walking around the city, and you know, he knocks on the woman's window. He's like, "I'll help you open that jar." He opens the jar and passes it back to her, and he's off on his day. And him putting the old lady in the washing machine in the laundrette. There's so many kills, and there's so many things that happen so quickly that it's hard to remember everything, because it's just the film is just throwing everything it has right at you, and it doesn't relent.
I kind of like the sequences at the beginning with Melvin. Like once he mutates, you never see that guy ever again, and so it's a shame that when you see Toxic Avenger, it's just that mutated face. But Mark Torgo is the face of Melvin, and when he's there at the beginning in the gym, just kind of looking all goofy, you know, his face smeared up against the glass while they're trying to play squash, or when he's watching Slug and his girlfriend have sex, and he's like, and gets chased off. You're like, what the fuck? What the fuck is this shit? Cigar Face's beatdown. If I could turn somebody upside down in a barrel and keep punching him in the bollocks, I would. The leading up to the group shootout, you know, it just is fucking stupid. I didn't. It's amazing how many superpowers Toxie has. You know, he's got toxic sense that can sense crime. He's impervious to bullets.
He's super strong,
and he can super jump out of the way of people so that they all shoot each other.
Yeah, he's also super stealthy.
Super stealthy as well. He's also super in bed.
Yeah,
he can piss toxic waste. It's amazing. It's crazy. I love the taco restaurant shootout. It's just all the deaths. I mean, like you said, with the dog death, you know, the guy getting his hands all fucked up, the guy getting his arm ripped off, you know, it's the milkshake guy, and then everybody coming in. The joke pays off, and the cops come in. They're all stood there just eating tacos, you know, and you're just like, oh right, this is supposed to be stupid. And my last favorite scene is the two cops at the end. You know, especially that guy. Like, I don't believe you. Oh my god, I need to see.
Favorite kill in the whole film, Ian?
Favorite kill, maybe the transvestite with the eye pops. Yeah. But I don't know if he actually dies because he gets thrown in. They get thrown into each other.
Yeah. I think they do. I think their heads explode when he smashes them into each other.
No, well he does. But then one of them ends up falling on top of another one. I don't know, but I like the way he goes pop and pulls the eyes out and goes like, ah!
I don't know. For me, it's a tie between the kid getting his head crushed underneath the car and the drug dealer in the gym having the weight dropped on the top of his head.
I would go with
still twitching.
I'd go with the drug dealer. You just see that spike enter the head.
But you see, I mean, that looks fake. Whereas the kid one doesn't look fake. Yeah. So it's like, well. Yeah. So yeah, both of those two I think are the best kills of the film though.
Yeah.
They're not the funniest, but the best, I'd still say.
I have a bit of trivia for you.
Oh?
Yeah, I wanted to make sure I fucking knew what I was talking about before we sat down, even though I try. And it's amazing how much of a back history Troma has.
Oh yeah.
And how many stars kind of had moments in films that they starred in.
You're talking about Aunt May, aren't you?
No. I didn't realize. I was trying to work out where Teresa Tomei was in the film. Where was she?
She walks out just after I think he scared the other girl. After he's revealed his face and she screams.
Yeah.
She comes out in a towel wrapped around her.
Right.
And she just screams and then turns and runs away.
Right. Now, I saw her on the list and I was like, Marissa Tomei's in here? Where the fuck is she? I didn't
She was
realize.
an uncredited extra.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But it's like Troma owned the rights to a film that James Gunn was in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And they also own the rights to a film, I fucking shit you not. I had to
James Gunn got his start in Troma.
Yeah. There's a film, right? It's From the Mind and Poems of Charlie Sheen, right? About a girl who hates her sister and the two of them are going to fight. And Troma made it into a film.
Of course.
We're talking fucking Charlie from 2.5 Men. Fucking Charlie fucking Sheen wrote poems.
The more moist warmth of congealed, dripping phlegm cascades outwardly from their fiery orifices, filling my open, blistered mouth. Their poison glares surface quickly as the haggis weevils multiply at will.
Winning.
I think it should come as no surprise that I'm definitely going to be recommending Toxic Avenger. You should be watching Toxic Avenger for the over-the-top performances and the silly, silly characters. The film is gory as hell, and the film just relishes in kind of how bad it is. But it's fun. You know, it is like a reverse 80s slasher movie. It's got boobs, it's got gore, it's got violence, and it's got charm. You know, it is stupid, and it is goofy, but it's also horrific, and I kind of love it. This is a cult classic, for sure.
Yeah.
And though I will say this is absolutely for acquired tastes only. For me, this is like a gateway movie into the weird and wonderful world that is Troma films. And this is a must-watch for me. Definite recommendation.
I definitely recommend The Toxic Avenger. I think I always would have. I mean, it's a cult classic. It's up there.
It almost defines cult, doesn't it?
Yeah, it almost... I mean, it's a staple of the 80s. I mean, it's amazing that Troma has barely survived this long. But they have always had The Toxic Avenger to kind of fall back on. You know, like I said, I didn't watch it until the late 90s, or mid-90s, I suppose, late 90s, when it came onto TV. But people were already watching it before that it was a fucking cartoon series. You know, there are computer games on this fucking guy. You know, there are films. They are still planning on making PG-13 fucking films for the kids in the future. You know, there's a lot of avenues you can go with The Toxic Avenger, but this is where it all started. And like Gary said, it is a kind of gateway into the world of Troma. But if you get through this film and you're like, I didn't like it, don't ever watch another fucking Troma film, because it is pretty much the same kind of stuff. The script changes, the actors change, and the storyline kind of changes, but the gore is still there, the comedy is still there, the goofiness is still there. You know, if you watch this and you're like, man, I really fucking enjoyed that, watch the rest of their library. There's some good ones, there's some bad ones, there's some mediocre ones, you know, but it's Troma.
Thanks for watching Off the Shelf Review.
Melvin worked at the Tromaville gym. 90-pound weakling who got pushed around. They dressed him up in a big tutu. They beat him up and they threw him down. He landed in a barrel of waste. Toxic chemicals ate his face.
From the boy behind the stars, yeah. You took out your spoon, you wanna